श्री बुद्धाच्या चरणावरती विजयादशमी दिनी दीक्षा आम्हा दिली भीमाने मंगल दिन तो जनी श्री बुद्धाच्या चरणावरती विजयादशमी दिनी दीक्षा आम्हा दिली भीमाने मंगल दिन तो जनी.
Good morning to everybody. On this beautiful day, we are here to commemorate a great person. A great person who changed the whole face of India. The whole face of India, which prevailed until 1950. He is the one who brought the mass change to India. If he was not there, India won't be like this today. He's a wonderful personality. I will talk about him later on. First of all, according to the tradition, what we do is we observe the 5 precepts.
शांतिदूताच्या वैभवशाली जाऊन या आश्रमा प्रथम नमो गौतमा चला हो प्रथम नमो गौतमा
प्रथम नमो गौतमा चला हो प्रथम नमो गौतमा प्रथम नमो गौतमा चला हो प्रथम नमो गौतमा.
तथागताची तत्व प्रणाली आचरण्याची मुभा मिळाली जीवनानंदे आज बहरली वैशाखी पौर्णिमा
प्रथम नमो गौतमा चला हो प्रथम नमो गौतमा.
Namo Buddhaya, Jai Bhim, and good morning to one and all present here. Today we have all gathered here to celebrate 62nd Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Din. So before starting this event, I would like to welcome you all to this event. Today's our guest of honor is Lama Ramrol. He is from Seattle, having taught and traveled most of the part of the world preaching Buddhism. We are very honored to have him here today. We welcome you, Lama Ramrol. On 14th October 1956, a mass religious conversion took place in Nagpur, India under Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It was to convert all people belonging to untouchable community to Buddhism. Babasaheb Ambedkar himself belonged to an untouchable community. He was deprived of right to education and to wander freely in the society. He worked really hard to achieve whatever he wanted in his life. He worked really hard to gain education. And looking at his hard work, he decided that none of his brother, none of his people should ever have to suffer from all these things. So he studied a lot of religions and finally came to a conclusion to convert all his people to Buddhism. Because Buddhism is based on truth, it is based on equality, it is based on Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya, that is welfare and happiness of everyone. On 14th October, hence, a mass conversion took place to convert all these people to Buddhism. 2 days later, on 16th October 1956, Dhamma Chakra Pravartan took place in Chandrapur, India, in which over 3 lakh people converted to Buddhism. From that day onward, we celebrate Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Din every year to show respect for what he did for all of us. If it wasn't for Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and his followers, we wouldn't be standing here, far away from our motherland, achieving something great in our lives and contributing to our society. Let us all commemorate them with a prayer. So I request Bante Amar Buddhi to begin Buddha Vandana.
So I want to take you into my life to show you the intersection of Babasaheb in my life, in another community, in another culture, to show you the power of his teachings from 70 years ago to present, jumping culture in America to me. So when I was working with Michael Jackson, and I was on the field of the Super Bowl, I'm in charge of 5,000 people on the field. There are 80,000 people in the stadium. There are 750 million people watching by television. And in that moment, I could feel every single eye, because I was as close to Michael as I am to that wall. And everybody screaming at the top of their lungs. In this moment, I felt like I had risen to the level of my career that I was not prepared to deal with as a human being. Because the show went off well, but I, of course, in my profession, you're always thinking contingencies. What if this happens? What if that happens? And so in my mind, I'm thinking this could all go wrong at any moment, and then there would be 5,000 people on the field and 80,000 people watching and 750 million by television. That's a big mistake made, imprinted forever. Many, many lives, incalculable amount of lives could be affected. And I thought, I need to really start thinking about my humanity, because I have to survive my career should things go wrong. And at that time I had no way of figuring out how to do that, but that began my quest, my search to become a better, bigger, more efficient human being. The education was not enough. The consistent movement up the ladder in a very difficult business where there are no rules. If you make a mistake, they come and get security, throw you out the building. There's no room. You're shooting live television. That means you have a 3-second window for a mistake. That's it. You got the B-1 bombers up in the stratosphere waiting for our signal to come down and fly 500 feet over the stadium. So the show can start on a soundtrack that starts the music. And you got to get 5,000 people to do the same thing at the same time on the field. And it's moment to moment to moment to moment. The pressure is very great, is what I'm saying. So what I tried to do was to figure out why I was having this feeling. And I couldn't figure it out, but I knew one thing. Everything I was doing was not what I needed. So I reversed the strategy and I said, well, what if I stop doing everything I know how to do? Let's see what happens. Maybe it's possible that I might discover something that I will not see as long as I continue to be doing what I'm doing. In other words, in order to become a better human being, I had to think about changing my behavior. Not thinking about it, not hoping for it, not aspiring, but actually to change my behavior. And I got into a lot of trouble because once I stopped doing what I knew how to do, things started falling away. My car broke down. I said, I don't need it anymore. That car's not going to make me happy. That's not the answer. Then I started, people said, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm trying to find out what kind of human being I am. I lost friends. And then I thought, my friends that I had at that time were only my friends because of what I had. And as soon as they saw that may not be having that anymore, they went away. I learned a lot about other human beings.
There were he then decided that moving out of Hinduism and Hindu religion was the only option. And he had few goals in his mind. One was with regards to an individual, and the other was with regard to society. For individual, it was extremely important to have spiritual development. The spiritual development will in turn lead to economic and social upliftment. Next, he wanted that the society should be based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. And these are actually the pillars of our constitution. So that time he did a comparative study of all the religions that are out there. One was, in one of the religions, the leader said that I am the God. In another religion it said, I am the messenger of God. And in another religion it said, I am the last messenger of God actually. So in all these cases, Babasaheb was not impressed. But however, he was extremely impressed by what Gautam Buddha had to say. He said, I am the Margadarshak. So that means I am the provider of the path, and which is the Noble Eightfold Path. And if you follow this path, you will achieve happiness and enlightenment. This was one of the basic ideas of Buddhism. Next, he wanted rational thinking into any religion. So the way Buddhism teaches teachings they are based on reason and experiences. This was extremely important as you want to base your daily life conduct based on reasoning. The third point that he noted was morality or the sila. Morality is important for a person's growth, and it brings happiness to that person. At the same time, morality is important for a society to be together, to bind together, and to live a peaceful life. Next, he focused on what kind of social values Buddhism brings. So Buddhism is based on equality. He noted that more than 2,500 years back, when Buddha was alive, he welcomed the Shudras to become Buddhist monks. He also welcomed women to become Buddhist nuns. This was a completely unheard phenomena at that time. So not only was Gautam Buddha the enlightened one, he was also a social reformer. So based on these considerations, Babasaheb concluded that this religion is based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. And also it was this religion that will convert India to a new and modern India. Based on these decisions, he converted the untouchable community into Buddhism. And I want to quote one of the things that he said in his speeches in 1936 at the Mahar Conference. He said, for getting human treatment, convert yourselves. Convert for getting organized. Convert for becoming strong. Convert for securing equality. Convert for getting liberty. Convert so that your domestic life should be happy. So that's what I wanted to share with you today on this significant day. Thank you all.
Namo Buddhaya, Jai Bhim. Good morning to everyone. I wish everyone happiness, and for the 62nd Dhamma Chakra Pravartan Din that we are celebrating today. As you all know, I see some new faces here, but we have been doing this activity since last year. This is our second time doing it. So we are just a couple of folks who got inspired by the teachings of Buddha and also Dr. Vihara Ambedkar. And when we came here as students and professionals, we wanted to have some community of our own to look after. So that's where the idea started. we thought of starting it with celebrations of events like this. This year, again, I would like to reiterate the same points that we mentioned last year. As students, that was my experience. As a student, when I come from India to US, I see other communities having their social groups around, and those students are taken well care of, helped by them. So I wanted the same thing to happen from our end as well, from our community as well. So that was one of the motivation for us to start this social group. Other reason is also we know that there are many IT professionals who come here directly on H1B and stuff like that. So it's all about connecting them together, having to make this group helpful for them for their initial times as well. The other thing that we want to achieve from this thing is, as we can see, the small kids sitting in front. These are the next generations of the kid and who are born and brought up here. But if the families want to imbibe them with the views of Dr. Vihara Ambedkar or Lord Buddha, these are the kind of events that will help them to at least get accustomed with the culture and the teachings. So that way we can help them as well. The other thing is, like you can see this year, we have a couple of more volunteers to our group who helped in organizing this event. We have a new anchor, Kritika, who is a student here who has joined it. We had an addition of Manish Ji who helped us in organizing this event. So these are the kind of inspiration and motivation that we want to cultivate, so that among us as well, the next year we have more volunteers like this who help in making the event, organizing this event. Similarly, we also kind of have discussions while we are doing these planning events, right? So there is always an exchange of ideas that is happening. We have invited our guest speaker today. So the personalities like this, when we have a discussion session with them, we kind of get acquainted with newer ideas and newer. We also come to understand, like in past 2 days that we have spent with him, we have come to know that there are people who want to help the cause of Dr. Vihara Ambedkar and to drive this mission. And those are the kind of ideas we want to exchange between different cultures. So that's the another point that we are trying to do here. So I am very happy that you guys have attended this event, and hopefully we'll see the same thing the next year. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lama Ramrol, for such inspiring words. 62 years back, when Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar gave us Dhamma Diksha, it included 22 vows that all new converts took after 3 jewels and 5 percepts. Let us all retake those vows and strengthen them in our minds. So I would like to invite Takshak sir on stage to take these vows again, and I request everyone to repeat them after him.
Just a question. How is the vow relevant to me right now to take? Because I was born Buddhist, my parents are Buddhist, I was never Hindu. Why should I take those vows? I'm just Buddhist.
Perfectly good.
And yeah.
Perfectly good. So this is just to basically reiterate our mind to ensure that we don't fall back on the path which put us or our forefather into the slavery.
But my father's was Buddhist, and I was never someone else.
So
why should I I say something that I don't want to be something which I was never was?
perfectly good. So if you never were that, perfectly good. But you could see that in people from India, right? They still follow Hindu religion, which is based on the caste system. But understand that, hey, I'm trying to detach myself completely, our mind and body, the contemplation of the humanity has to basically continue. So that's where we are trying to make sure that we remember that incidences, right? And today, Jai to everyone, this is a wonderful time. Yeah.
So I'm an atheist, so I need not to repeat the rules.
Absolutely right. So
It's optional.
it's optional. If you want to basically say, you can say. If you don't want to say,
I will go for the rules that he accept equality and all.
Yeah.
Only accept the religion. I will.
Absolutely. That is I think
Go ahead.
that is good enough.
And we definitely appreciate the willingness to show that, like from her saying that she has been with this, she doesn't have to repeat it because she might be following those things.
Right.
You being atheist, you follow the things, but this is optional, and it, as you said, just to reiterate and just not to get distracted or being ignorant to stuff like this. Thank you.
So, does it solve the questions? All right. So, one wonderful teaching what we basically just got from Lama is that study and make sure that we understand it. And here, Karthik and the team members here who are basically participating in this function, they basically run Ambedkar King Studies Circle. And as part of that, there is always a book reading and then discussions, and a lot of things happens to enlighten our own thought process. And I wish basically we always basically join them and make sure that we learn a lot from them. So without taking much time, and as we know that Dr. Ambedkar gave this 22 oaths to us, let me repeat that here. And I would like basically those who want to take those oaths one more time, stand up and basically say as I repeat. So I will first say, and then behind me basically you need to basically repeat that. Aisha.
So as I said, this is the last part of the today's event, and I just want to thank Ramaji for coming out from Seattle and accepting our invitation to be here today. And I think we all have a heavy heart and heavy mind today with reciting the vows, and our wheel of Dhamma is again ignited. So I hope it will be like that. And I thank you, Ramaji, for coming here. I thank you, Ramaji's wife and his student, Buddhi to be here. And I hope his student learn something good about Ambedkarism, Buddhism, because he's going to be our ally. He's going to be our friend in other community that's going to take our message forward. So I thank him, and I thank him to Lama again. After that, I want to thank Buddhi Vihara for letting us organize this event, letting us bring our tradition and creating a space to have and practice our tradition, and accepting us with an open heart. And I still remember when we tried to come and do the first event here last year, he said, don't try to do the tradition which I have or which I follow, which I was born in. Just do what you do and bring your tradition, because that's what you are, that's what your identity is. So you should stick to it. So I would like to thank Buddhi Vihara and all the residents now here to give us the opportunity. And at the end, I want to just quote one line. I met Lama last year in California for a textbook protest, and one line I want to leave you with that note that he said, when I asked a question, maybe it was a naive question, that why and what made you go towards Buddhism? So he gave me a simple one-liner that still stuck with me, and that still kind of reminds me why we are going on the path of Dhamma. So when I asked him, why did you embrace Buddhism? What made you to go towards Buddhism? He said, I was born in a religion where slavery was justified by religion. So I was born in a religion where slavery was justified by religion. And that kind of line stuck with me, and I think that was a really good one-liner that answered, I think, all my questions I had, what made him go towards Buddhism. And I just want to take names of the people who made this possible. So just to give a brief background, for this event, we prepared for 1 month. We gathered all the weekends and to make this possible. So I just want to thank everyone that they put their time aside and try to do something. Maybe it's for their satisfaction, but maybe it's for the next generation, or maybe it's for you. So I think it's a great deed to do. So thank you, Ratnapal, Ashutosh, Nilesh, Tushar, Dakshak, Prasanna, and all other who joined it and made this possible. If I miss some of the names, forget me. Forget me. I never speak at this. So with this, I just want to conclude and thank you, everyone. You are our participants. You are all people who motivate us to do more. So if you're even one participation or one registration makes a difference. I just want to let you guys know that when you register, we had a count going on that, okay, we have 1 more people coming in. And that you might even not know that how much it boosted our confidence. So it's like, keep doing it, and you don't have to be in the forefront, or we want you to be in the forefront, but if you don't want to be, if you can support us, we can make our way here. We are far away from motherland and we can make our way here. So maybe the idea of Ambedkar is, I think what I have learned after coming here, the idea of Ambedkar is different for everyone. Everyone has their own Ambedkar and they want to stick to it, and they are afraid to let it go. And when someone comes with their Ambedkar idea, they're like, no, this is not right. So we should acknowledge that and move on. It's like everyone has a Ambedkar. Babasaheb Ambedkar was so broad. He covered so many things. He did so many things for others that he touched everyone, and everyone has a different perspective of Ambedkar. So I want to tell you that be compassionate, whether it's for other Buddhist tradition, Sri Lankan or Tibetan or anyone, or maybe it's for other Ambedkarites who are Buddhist, who are not Buddhist, or who are just trying to be Buddhist or trying to be Ambedkarite, no matter what religion, what caste, or whatever they come from. It's just like they believe in one, and we should respect that and acknowledge it. So I think it's the time that you all can go out and have lunch. I would like to thank you everyone for joining this program today.